Good morning, and welcome to the Herb Day Radio Saturday Morning Business Showcase. This time is set aside to help listeners learn about topics of business, services, medical, and legal matters. First today is Kim Boyer of Boyer Territory, a real estate company.
Hi, and welcome to Real Talk. This is Kim Boyer. We're here to help you navigate through the home selling and the home buying process. Our last two programs, we talked about different aspects of the lending process, and today we're going to continue down that path. Today we have Trey Budke from USA Mortgage. Trey does a variety of loans that he's going to tell us about, and he's also known as the VA Dude, and he is a veteran himself, and in fact, he's the person who suggested that I get my MRP certification. So Trey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you can help the folks, and especially the veterans, to get their loan and their certification.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate you having me here today. My name is Trey Budke, and I am an owner/loan officer with USA Mortgage. As you said before, I go by the VA Dude because I try to specialize in VA lending. Probably about 70% of what I do right now is VA loans. I am a veteran myself. My son's in the Air Force right now, so it's kind of something we take to heart in my family.
Thank you both for your service.
Oh, my pleasure. So in addition to that, though, I do the full spectrum of lending, FHA, USDA, conventional lending, probably more FHA and USDA than conventional. A lot of first-time home buyers, but then a lot of move-up buyers as well.
Yes, it's a crazy market we're in right now, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
So it is for veterans and active duty service members, is that correct?
The VA loan, yes. So you're right. It's for people that are on active duty now or reserve and National Guards. And then veterans. So there's a couple of ways to qualify. Just having served doesn't necessarily mean you qualify. There is a time limit. So for veterans of active duty, generally speaking, they need to have served 2 years. And then Guard and reservists, they need to have completed a 6-year enlistment. And at that point, they become eligible for the VA benefit, which is zero down payment. That's the big thing with the VA loan.
Draw.
Yeah, down payment seems to be the biggest barrier to home ownership, at least in my experience.
Correct.
And a VA loan makes that piece go away.
Really takes care of it.
When I said the Guard and reserves takes 6 years, there is a couple exceptions to that. The big one being if they've been activated, called to active duty. A reservist or guardsman who's been called to active duty becomes eligible for the VA loan after 90 days of that period.
I see.
Now, the Guard's a little bit different because the Guard actually reports to the governor first.
Oh.
And then to the federal government. So it's the state and then the feds. So if they're called to active duty, like in the case of the coronavirus or the COVID-19, there's a lot of guardsmen right now that are on active duty in the state of Ohio. Mm-hmm. They're under Title 32 orders, which falls under the state, and that actually doesn't qualify them for the eligibility. Guard and reservists who are called to active duty under Title 10, which that reports to the feds, that's when they become eligible for the VA benefit after 90 days.
And so what's the first thing they need to do if they're thinking about getting a loan and they're a veteran or active duty?
Absolutely, no question about it. The first thing a veteran needs to do is get a hold of their certificate of eligibility. That's going to tell us a couple of things. Number one, it's going to tell us if they meet the basic requirements of eligibility. It's going to tell us how much eligibility they have. And another important thing with the VA loan is the funding fee. So there's a funding fee that is charged on VA lending. Basically, that's how they keep the program going. That's how they fund the program.
Correct.
That funding fee is waived if you have a 10% or higher VA disability rating. So that the certificate of eligibility will tell us that if that's applies to them.
So there's all kinds of little nooks and crannies and things involved. Now, how do they get their certificate of eligibility? Do they contact you?
So I can absolutely help them get it. In fact, I would say probably 90% of the veterans I work with come to me without it. So we pull that. There's a VA website that we can enter their information and pull it. Probably about 80% of them are available instantly online through that website. Mm-hmm. Some of them, and generally what I find is a reservist, a guardsman, or someone that was on active duty quite a while ago. Those sometimes are not available instantly, and what we'll have to do is upload their discharge paperwork. So a DD-214 is your discharge from active duty.
Yes.
Or a reservist or a guardsman will have a retirement point statement. So a little bit different depending on what capacity they served in.
I see. So if they are eligible, is this something that they can use more than one time?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because it's a real misconception out there. A lot of veterans I've talked to will tell me they've used it already, so they're calling me about an FHA loan or a conventional loan,
right,
not realizing that the VA loan can be used more than once. In fact, there's no limit on how many times it can be used. The big thing is what they did with that house that they had originally. So,
what do you mean?
Well, if it was sold and the entitlement can be restored back to 100%, then they can use the full benefit over and over.
I see.
In some cases, though, they may hang on to that first house as an investment property. That doesn't mean that they can't still buy and use the VA loan. It really comes down to how much of the eligibility they used, how much is remaining. So it's a little complicated, but if you do it every day, it gets a lot easier. So talking to someone that works with VA day in and day out is really crucial.
Yeah, so they could just call you and ask any questions that they have, and you can help them figure it out.
Absolutely.
Good. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Hi, this is Kim Boyer from Boyer Territory, a real estate company. Our featured listing this week is 4468 Mount Zion Road, Hillsboro, Ohio. It's on the west side of Hillsboro. If you're familiar with the area, take 138 like you're going to Danville and turn right, and it's not very far out that way. It's a beautiful home, a 4-bedroom, 2 full bathroom. It sits on approximately 1.7 acres, and it has an office space, a nice composite front deck, a rear deck with a fenced-in area, a 46 by 28 detached garage, another storage building outside, and an above-ground pool. So it's beautiful land, beautiful side country road. Give us a call today at Boyer Territory for your showing. Call us today at 937-393-9270. Welcome back. We're back with Trey Budke talking about VA and other types of loans. Trey, with the VA loan, what types of properties can you buy?
Well, Kim, first of all, the VA loan is for owner-occupied properties only. So the veteran or the active duty service member, guardsman, reservist needs to intend to occupy that property as their primary residence. Okay. So it's not for second homes. It's not for investment properties.
Okay.
As far as the types of properties, there's really no more restriction on VA than any other loan. So it's for single-family properties up to 4-unit properties.
Okay, so that is like an investment property, but they have to live in one of the units.
The veteran has to live in one of the units, correct. Okay. So they can go from single-family up to 4 units. Condos, possibly. So condos have to be approved by the VA.
Okay.
It's not a difficult process to get a condominium approved,
okay,
but you absolutely need a homeowners association that's willing to work with you because they've got to provide us all the documentation.
I see.
And then we can submit it to the VA for approval. Right now, basically, if someone was looking at a condo, I would go out to the VA website and search the address and see if it's already approved, and then kind of go from there. So that's going to add some time to the process for sure. Mm-hmm. So if it's in a market like this where, it's very, very competitive, offers are being accepted, the day the listings go out.
Right.
That might be a little more difficult.
Multiple offers.
Yeah, but they are available for condos as well. And the other thing is VA does allow to buy manufactured housing.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of lenders now that won't lend on manufactured housing. But
Correct.
the VA itself doesn't limit that. So the lenders themselves may have an overlay that says, hey, we're not willing to lend on it. But the VA absolutely is. So that have to be at least a double wide.
A double wide.
And it has to be permanently affixed to a foundation. And the title has to be surrendered as real property.
Surrendered to real estate. Does it have to be a certain year?
It has to meet the HUD guidelines, which, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's 1976. I believe it's like June 1st of 1976.
Okay. 1976.
Yeah. The other thing that I hear a lot of people will call me up and ask about acreage, especially out in this area, if there are maximum acres that the VA will lend on. Correct. And there isn't. So the big thing with the VA loan is comparables on the appraisal. So they've got to find like properties that have sold recently. So I have done one out in Highland County with 100 acres this year. So
great.
There is no acreage limit.
Wonderful. Now, what about minimum credit scores with a VA loan compared to other loan types?
Another great question. I hear it all the time that people think, talking to certain lenders, that the VA imposes a credit floor or a minimum, and they don't actually. The VA has no credit score requirement.
That's just unheard of.
Well, lenders, on the other hand, will impose their own limits on what they're willing to work with.
Okay.
So pre-COVID, we were good down in the 580 range. And now, when I say that, that doesn't mean just because you hit the credit score that you're going to be able to get approved.
Correct.
You still have to qualify debt-to-income ratio-wise, and it really depends on what's driving that credit score. For example, if it's like medical collections, but not late payments, then you're probably going to be all right.
I see.
If it's a 580 credit score because you've got lots and lots of late payments in the last 12 months,
then you're probably not going to get it.
That's not going to be all right.
You're the reason.
So the VA really wants to see that you've got 12 months with no late payments whatsoever. That's kind of the minimum that they're looking for.
Okay.
But there is no minimum credit score. However, as I said before, lenders will impose a minimum credit score. So right now, I can go down to a 600. I know some of the online places are up around 640, maybe even 680, I've heard.
600 is really good.
Yeah, so when people say they have less than perfect credit, they need to look into getting pre-approved, and because it might not be that they qualify today, but we can tell them what they need to do in order to qualify 12 months from now, 24 months from now, whatever the case may be.
Right.
I think everybody can be a homeowner. It's just a question of when.
So if you're thinking about it anytime in the near future, you should call and just see where you're at.
You need to know where you're at before you can know where you're going. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, early on in my career, before it was so you have to have a pre-approval before you go, I would meet with people one time and talk to them, and they would be in love with this house and it's what they wanted to get, and they didn't have the pre-approval yet, and sometimes it would come back and they weren't approved for that level and they were just heartbroken. So after that was the first thing that I told people. You need to make sure you get a pre-approval, because I don't want you to be heartbroken, because I want to make people happy and help them get what they want, and being heartbroken is no good.
Well, there's no point in finding your dream home if you can't afford it or
That's
get
correct.
approved for it. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
But yeah, knowing ahead of time. Well, Trey, thanks for being with us today. If someone would like to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
They can go to my website, which is www.thevadude.com.
All right.
And my cell information's on there, my email's on there. There's actually a link to apply for a pre-approval on there. So, yeah, anybody can reach out to me pretty much at any time through that website.
Hi, this is Kim Boyer from Boyer Territory, a real estate company. Are you or your family members tired of paying rent and having nothing to show for it? Do you think you can't buy? Call me now at 937-393-9270. Boyer Territory, a real estate company. We're open 24 hours a day at BoyerTerritory.com. Thanks for listening to Real Talk. This is Kim Boyer, and until next week, keep your credit clean and don't quit your job.